Hello everyone, my name is Mike, and like Canada's Highway of Tears, there are more desolate stretches of road in the world that have a history of unresolved disappearances and unsolved murders. Working its way across northeast Australia, in Queensland, is a stretch of road called Flinders Highway, which spans 500 miles between Townsville and Mount Isa. The highway passes through some beautiful scenery and some desolate expanses of the Australian outback, and a killer is rumoured to have lurked on the desolate stretch of road where 12 people have vanished, with some found murdered, earning it the nickname, the Highway of Death. Most recently, there was the disappearance of 22-year-old Jaden Thompson. Jaden vanished into thin air at Charters Towers on January 1st, 2018. Jaden had just been passing through on his way to Cairns on New Year's Eve, along with his friend Lucas Tattersall, and they decided to visit a place called the Puma Roadhouse along the way. When the two left, Jaden was described as being very agitated, cryptically saying that there was a warrant out for his arrest, and the two men got into an argument, after which Jaden pulled the car over on a back road and stormed off into the night and into the wilderness. This was the last time he was ever seen again. The spat of high-profile unsolved murders along the Highway of Death began in 1970, when two young girls were murdered off the Flinders Highway. 2 years later, in 1972, two teenage girls mysteriously vanished in the area. One of the girls' body was later found under a rail bridge, with bullet holes in her head. No sign of the other girl has ever been found, and she remains to this very day missing. In 1975, an 18-year-old woman was found dead near the highway, killed by blows to the head with a rock. A few years later, in 1978, the bodies of 3 people were found with gunshots to the head. One of the more well-known bizarre vanishings along Flinders Highway was that of Tony Jones, who in 1982 was out backpacking and hitchhiking in the area as part of a 6-month hiking excursion across Australia, when he simply stepped off the face of the earth. His last known communication was a call he made to his father and girlfriend on November 3rd from a phone box in Townsville, telling them he was on his way to Mount Isa. He never arrived. All bank account activity stopped, and no trace of Tony Jones has ever been found.
We were obviously heartbroken, but we just felt there was nothing that we could do, that there was no leads, that the police had done everything they could.
Tony's father, Kevin, is now 88. His lifelong wish is to know what really happened to his son.
Sorry. My sons have never, ever stopped their resolve in trying to get somewhere, and they never will, even after I'm gone.
Kevin and his wife have retraced their son's final movements. The 20-year-old made his last call from a Townsville phone box before heading to Mount Isa.
Tony never arrived. It was just, we just didn't know what happened to him. We looked at every single possibility.
31 years is a long time, and the longer it gets, I mean, that is one of the present difficulties with the police investigation, is the length of time.
One local said, "It is a large, scary stretch of highway. Anyone in their right mind really wouldn't be backpacking under those sort of circumstances." In the following years, there were some leads to the disappearance of Tony Jones, such as an anonymous letter to police from a writer claiming to know where the body was, but these led nowhere. There was also a prisoner at the Townsville Correctional Centre who claimed to have brutally killed a man near Mount Isa at around that same time, but no connection or evidence were ever found. And the prisoner died before revealing any secrets he knew. There was also a witness who claimed to have seen Jones with another man, and even gave a description for a police sketch. But the mysterious individual remains unidentified, and this lead also hit a dead end. Interestingly, the sketch looked an awful lot like Police Superintendent Mervyn Henry Stevenson, suspected of corruption, but this was never actually substantiated, and he was never officially questioned on the disappearance. In later years, there have been other strange disappearances along Flinders Highway. In 2017, 26-year-old Reese Carney stopped at a gas station to fill his motorcycle and then drove off down the highway, never to return. And just days later, the disappearance of Jaden Thompson on January 1st, 2018. Police and helicopters have searched the area near where Jaden Thompson is believed to have vanished, but they have discovered no sign of anything. In total, there have been 12 killings and disappearances along the Highway of Death, all unresolved. But in later years, there have been some leads as to who may have been operating in the area. In 2014, a known killer by the name of Andy Albury allegedly confessed in prison to a killing spree along the highway between 1970 and 1980, but there was no evidence to corroborate these claims. There was also the confession of suspected child serial killer Arthur Stanley Brown, who was charged in 1998 of murder and was long thought to be possibly connected to the disappearance of 2 girls, and was also implicated in a string of other unsolved killings. Unfortunately, he died in prison in 2002 at the age of 90, leaving disappearances along Flinders Highway unsolved. Due to the 12 unresolved killings and vanishings, some locals have actually called Flinders Highway cursed. One local is known to have said, "It is its own world out there. Strange things do happen in those wild, empty places." Interestingly, the highway is also said to be a magnet for traffic accidents. Could this be related to some of the disappearances? Maybe. Maybe not. As of yet, none of these crimes have been solved, and whatever killed or took these people remains unknown. With its long stretches of wilderness and outback, the road is a perfect place for a serial killer, not unlike Canada's Highway of Tears. So if you're travelling through Queensland, beware of Flinders Highway. Thanks for watching. Mike out.